What's happening, guys? How's everyone doing? Um, I've been having a lot of people ask me some different questions and stuff, so I just want to kind of clear things up and maybe answer a couple questions of what people have been asking me lately. So, what was going on like with the SEC? Now, the SEC they came in and they made the regulations that came like September 1st, and the hedge funds can no longer short ladder attack us, which means that our play is going to start. It's going to start running like a normal play would be. So we're going to start seeing the line go, steadily going up. Um, Fridays, Mondays, Tuesdays are really the only days that we really need to pay attention to, unless you're day trading. So Fridays, as long as like the option calls finish in the money, then Monday they have to cover Mondays and Tuesdays because it's a little bit of a process. So we'll start seeing the stock just steadily start raising like a normal play. Um, as long as we're hitting those numbers like this last week, Friday we hit at $50, so that's a pretty good spot to close in. So that's Monday, Tuesday this week. We should start seeing the stocks start climbing. So we should start seeing green days, Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays. Not that big a deal. As long as, like I said, you're day trading, so we could have red days on those days, and it's not doesn't even matter. So Fridays, I believe that this upcoming Friday, and this is just my personal prediction, I want to say that we'll probably hit 57 to $58 closing out of the week. So I think that that's pretty good. Now, here in a few weeks, people keep asking me, well, when's it supposed to pop off? When's it supposed to pop off? We've been in this for several months, and I thought it was supposed to pop off like in June, and well, it was supposed to, but it's just the tricks and stuff that the hedge funds have that they like the short ladder attacks, for example, and all the synthetic shares. They kept shortening, and taking it down. But now that the SEC regulations came in, they can't legally do that anymore, and the profit for order flows, et cetera, et cetera. So we should start seeing a steady climb. Now, after we start hitting like 85 to 105 to 125 bucks a share, which how many weeks is that going to take? We don't know, but it's coming pretty quick. Then they're going to have to start covering all the shorts. Now, after that 85 to 105, 125, those brackets in there, then it's really going to start taking off. And then we have to be careful to see how it's going to go. We have to be careful with the momentum. So we should see it hit the hundreds pretty quick, and then it's going to start dropping like I told you before. The higher the rips, the higher the dips, the dips are going to be a little lower, and then it'll continue to climb. So as we just need to keep an eye on that stuff, and we need to keep an eye on the momentum. So once we start hitting like the 1,000 to 5,000 bracket, and I remember I talked about this a while back. So we hit $1,000 to $5,000 a share, anywhere right in there. We have to see what the momentum is going to be like. Now, once the momentum, if it takes off and it breaks through that 5,000 pretty good, we're in the next bracket, from 5 to 8,000, 8 to 10,000. We just kind of have to, we're just going to have to see what the big organizations to see what they're going to do, because it's really a battle between like these big funds that are up here there, and we're just going to take advantage of this because it's going to happen no matter what. Now, in order for you guys to make like your own brackets, take however many shares that you have of AMC, GME, etc. Because there's multiple plays out there. I think AMC and GME, those are going to be the first ones to, take off. They're going to be the first ones to squeeze. Then you have like all your other like Clove, Nokia, Bed Bath Beyond, etc. There's a bunch of them out there. Sundial is actually the cheapest one, and that I think a lot of people are going to jump into that after the first initial squeezes. And but really think about and do your own math so you can see what your brackets are and what your numbers are to start selling. So take however many shares that you have. and multiply that by 500 bucks. Then take all that and see what's your number at the end. Then also multiply that by like 800 bucks. Then multiply that by $1,000. Then multiply it by like or $1,000, $5,000, $7,000, $8,000. So you guys can have an idea where you want to sell, because everybody's play is going to be different. Everybody's position is different. Some people out there have 25 shares. Some people out there have 50 shares. Some people have 400 shares, 500 shares, 1,000 shares. Now, so that sell number is going to be different for every individual. So my numbers are going to be different than what your numbers are going to be, and keep in mind what's going to be like life changing for you. Is that enough to pay your car off? Is that enough to pay your house off? Is that enough to get you out of debt? And you got to be realistic with this stuff. And I know a lot of people are going to want to hold to like $50,000 to $100,000 a share. You got to keep in mind that who's going to buy those shares when it starts hitting that high. And a lot of people keep saying about like selling it on the way down. I would not recommend to sell on the way down, because the hedge funds are going to wait for that stuff to start tanking, get that back into like, let's just say, for example, it hits 12,500 bucks a share or something like that. And then the big institutions start selling, which is the big institutions on our side, not the hedge fund side. And that's where we need to watch out for the momentum. And if they start going down, then the hedge funds are going to see that, and you're like, oh no, it hit like the, et cetera, and it's dropping for, 5,000, 4,000, 3,000, and they're not dumb. They're going to wait for it to bottom out before they start buying them shares back. So that can drop all the way back to like, 250 bucks, 300 bucks a share. So I just don't want to see anybody like miss out on a great opportunity like that. So keep your shares, take the total of your shares and multiply it by like all these different numbers, so you can kind of see what's going to work for you. Like I have my numbers, and you all have to have your numbers. And being that this didn't pop off, I just wanted to touch on this real quick. Being that this didn't pop off like the end of June and the first part of July like it was supposed to, and then they came in and they screwed everything, and then they started knocking it down again. That's why the SEC came in. They're under investigation for like all the synthetic shares, etc., etc., etc. But being that they kicked the can down the road and they prolonged it for so much longer, well, that just gave us several more weeks and a few more months to keep adding on more shares, keep adding more shares. So let's say, for an example, if somebody had 100 shares back then, that gave us an opportunity so that individual could maybe double the shares to 200 shares. Or if you had 20 shares back then, maybe you could have got up to like 45, 50 shares, so you got way better chance. So I think that was actually a pretty good opportunity for us to acquire more shares. Now, I wanted to talk to you guys about selling your shares. Now, when it comes time for like that 3-4 days, week, or whatever it's going to be during the squeeze, everybody's going to be trying to process their orders. Everybody's going to be selling. They're either going to sell in blocks, they're going to sell their whole position, and that's up to the individual, whatever you guys want to do. There's two types of like orders that you can sell. You have like the market order, and you have a limit order. Now, let's say if it goes up to like, $5,000 a share, and if you sell at the market order, then or at the market price, well, it could be fluctuating and jumping around a bunch, and you could, let's say you hit the sell button at the market sell, and it says $5,000. Now, there's a chance you can sell this for $5,400. There's also a chance that you can sell it for like $3,800, because it's gonna be fluctuating quite a bit. So you got to be smart about that. So there's also the option. It depends on what platform that you use, but like Robinhood has it, Webull has it. Actually, they all should have it to where you have the limit sell. So if you were to set a limit sell, say if it's getting right around $5,000, just for an example, $5,000, and if you put the limit sell as 5,000, then you can put X amount of shares that you want to sell, then you're guaranteed to sell it at the $5,000. So I would recommend for you guys to like educate yourself on that and learn how to do that within your own brokerage app, so like you're not getting screwed out of any money. but that's what I would recommend to do. And like, there's a bunch of kids that are in this. Like, not saying like kids, but they're like, there's a lot of younger people that are in on this play. And I know me, I'm 41, and so my numbers are going to be a lot different from what the younger kids. And there's people that are older than me, and like people that are in their 50s that I talk to, and I talk to a shit ton of people all the time about this, and their numbers are going to be different than what my numbers are. Now, some of the younger guys that I talk to about this, they talk about, well, I want to hit a couple $1,000,000 that way I can retire. Well, take that into consideration. Let's see. Just throwing a number out there. These are just examples. These aren't. I'm not saying that this is the numbers that it's going to hit, or this is the numbers of what's right for you and what's right for me. Everybody's numbers are going to be different. That's why I say let's do the math and you do what's right for you. So let's just say these kids that are like in their early 20s, or these younger guys, and they say, okay, I want to retire. Well, what are you going to retire on? They say, well, if I make $2 million, I'm going to retire. Well, you need to think about that, because let's say if you're 25 years old, okay, and normally you would have to work till you're like 65 before you can pull your retirement or Social Security, before you can get on like Medicaid, Medicare, that kind of stuff. So let's just say 25 to 65 is what is that, 40 years. So let's say if you do an average, and like I said, I'm just throwing numbers out there, it's going to be different for everybody. So let's say if you do an average of like $50,000 a year, so that's over $2 million for the remainder of your work career. Now, you also, so you would say like, okay, I would need like $2 million in order to retire. Not necessarily, because you're also going to need to think about your family. Do you have kids? You're going to put them through college. You're going to have to think about healthcare, and you're also going to need to ride out for the rest of your life. So let's see. I'm just throwing numbers out there. Let's just say till 85 years old or something that you want to be taken care of financially. Well, that 85 years old just turned into like what, $4, $5, $6 million, and you also have to think about your capital gains tax. So they keep talking about raising the capital gains tax to like 41%, 42%, 46, 48%, something like that. So realistically, if you wanted to retire when you were that young, then you would have to make like $12 million. Okay, so I don't want people to go out there and, oh man, I did really good on this play and I'm gonna quit my job. You guys got to be smart about this, and you guys got to think about your future. So my number's going to be different, because I got almost 20 years on like the younger guys doing that, and like a couple of my buddies that are in their mid 50s to just are actually hitting retirement that we're talking about. It's like they can, if they make $1 million on this, then they're good, or a couple $1,000,000, they're good. But yeah, just you guys just need to think about that and make sure and do the math and make sure that everything is taken care of. And what are your plans with this money? I know everybody wants to do good for themselves, but like, what about like, do you want to help out like your parents and buy their house, or help them out, or take your family on a cruise? You got to just put all these different factors in when you're trying to figure out your numbers in your brackets. So another question people were asking me is how high I think this can go. Well, nobody knows. Nobody knows how high this thing can really go. A lot of people are holding out for $50,000 to $100,000 a share, and I hope it does. I really hope it does, and I hope you make money like that. But you got to be smart about it, though. And once a lot of people, like not just like us in our type community, but there's literally millions of people out there that are retail investors, and if they start seeing that, that they have a chance to get out and they can get themselves out of debt, get themselves, that's going to be life changing. Paying your house off is life changing for some people. Paying your car off is going to be life saving for people, or life changing for people. So they might be selling at $800-900 a share, $1,000 a share. So that's why we need to watch the momentum, and we need to watch what the big institutions are doing at the time during the squeeze. And if things keep going like they've been going, And now that this is it's kind of acting like a normal play. Um, once we hit 85 to 105, 125 bucks a share, that's when it's gonna boom, it's gonna take off. So that's approximately the time frame that we're looking at. So I don't know when that's going to be. It might be another month, but we're ending the fiscal year in the stock market. So things are going to be coming to an end. It's going to be coming to a close, and they're not going to be able to take the back door out like they did in the end of June and first part of July. So I just want to say good luck to everybody, and if anybody needs any help on trying to figure out their brokerage app or trying to figure out what their brackets are, just hit me up, man. I'm more than happy to help anybody out. And this is and I'm not saying I got everything right. It's just I've been following this play for several months now, and I'm educating myself, and my numbers have changed. So, and everybody's numbers, they're gonna change the longer that this takes. Like you got to learn to adjust, and you got to learn to adjust your numbers. So but yeah, like I said, good luck to everybody, and if anybody ever needs any help with this, that's why I started making these videos in the first place. I figured, like, if I'm gonna win, I want everybody else to. I just found a great opportunity to help everybody out. So I'll talk to you guys later. Good luck.